What up, YouTube? Here with another episode of Talk Wrestling. On this episode, I'll be giving y'all reviews on the latest pay-per-views in both the WWE and AEW. WWE's latest pay-per-view was the Elimination Chamber. That was last month. AEW's latest pay-per-view is Revolution. That happened this past Saturday. And I'll also be giving y'all my opinions on the road to Wrestlemania. And that's what consists for this episode of Talk Wrestling. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get to the reviewing part for WWE's Elimination Chamber 2023. And this is how I do my review videos for wrestling pay-per-views. I will give every match that happened on the card a rating out of a 5, and at the end of the reviewing part, I will give the whole pay-per-view event a rating out of a 10. Now, the Elimination Chamber for this year, the opening contest was the Women's Elimination Chamber match to see who goes on to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at Wrestlemania. The competitors were Asuka, Carmella, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalya, Liv Morgan, and Nikki Cross. And Asuka ended up winning this Elimination Chamber match. She will go on to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title at this year's WrestleMania. That should be a good match. Both wrestlers can go, and we know what both wrestlers are capable of. They're one of the best wrestlers in the roster right now when it comes to the women's roster in the WWE. And Asuka, I don't think, from what I remember, I don't recall her being in a main event picture for the Raw or SmackDown Women's title at a recent WrestleMania. Anyways, Asuka eliminated Carmella last to win the Elimination Chamber. Now this match, that's some good back and forth action, and the Elimination Chamber match is one of the best gimmick matches in the WWE. Now, with that being said, this match was a good opening contest to get the fans invested into the pay-per-view event, and it didn't disappoint. I'll give this match a rating out of a 3 out of a 5. Now, me personally speaking, I thought Liv Morgan was going to win this match because she's got a lot of hype surrounding her ever since she won the SmackDown Women's title last year. That's why I thought she was going to win this Elimination Chambers match to go and face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. And she was the last one to be eliminated at this year's Women's Royal Rumble match. That's why I thought Liv Morgan was the favorite to win, so that was a good move on the WWE to let Asuka, a veteran like her, win this match to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. And like I said, that should be a good match. Anyways, the next match on the card was Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. This match, I give it a rating of a... If I'm being nice, I was going to say 2 out of a 5. I'll say 2 out of a 5 because of the ending to the match. Now, it was good action, but how the match ended was disappointing because if y'all look at how this rivalry played out, y'all know the story with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Their feud started last year when they faced off for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble, and Bobby Lashley won that match via controversial fashion. And then they had another match at Crown Jewel last year where Brock Lesnar won that match, but he barely won that match because Bobby Lashley had him in the Hurt Lock, and then Brock Lesnar pulled a good move to get the pinfall over Bobby Lashley to win the match, and then Bobby Lashley, he lashed out, and then at the Royal Rumble, Bobby Lashley kind of got his vengeance on Brock Lesnar by eliminating him, not only for the L he took at Crown Jewel, but when Brock Lesnar returned before the Royal Rumble, when he made his return, Brock Lesnar caused Bobby Lashley a potential win at the United States title when he interfered in the match where Bobby Lashley was gonna win the U.S. title, and costing that title win, and then that's when Bobby Lashley got a little vengeance, get back when he threw Brock Lesnar out of the ring to eliminate him at the Royal Rumble, and then at the Elimination Chamber they faced off yet again, and then it looked like Bobby Lashley had the match won because he had Brock Lesnar in that hurt lock, and it looked like Brock Lesnar couldn't get out, and he pulled a desperate move, hitting Bobby Lashley with a low blow, and then that resulted in a disqualification with Bobby Lashley winning the match, and then Brock Lesnar would go on the last shout and then take it out on not only Bobby Lashley but the referee as well. He would F5 Bobby Lashley through the announce table, F5 the referee, and yeah, that was like, you know, the best spots in the whole match was the aftermath of that match. And as far as the actual match itself with both Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, when you have two athletes like that, you know, you're gonna get a high-paced action match out of those two wrestlers, and that's what we saw. And I'll give this match a 2 out of a 5. It wasn't long-lasting or none of that. And then the next match on the card, we saw a mixed tag team match with the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor taking on the team of Edge and Beth Phoenix. Now this was a good match, good back and forth action. All these wrestlers that were competing in this match, they can go, and we saw a good match out of this. And the Judgment Day and Edge has been involved in a feud ever since Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day, and they kicked out the founder of the Judgment Day, who is Edge. And this been a year-long lasting feud, and it hasn't lost its steam yet. And it's one of the best storylines going on in the WWE right now, and they produce good quality matches anytime they have a match. And this match didn't disappoint either. I give this match a 3.5 out of a 5. Edge and Beth Phoenix ended up winning this match, and yeah, it looks like at WrestleMania it's going to be Edge versus Finn Balor again, because they're continuing on their programming over there on Monday Night Raw. And the next match on the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view was the men's Elimination Chambers match for the United States title. The competitors were the champion Austin Theory and Seth Rollins, Montez Ford, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, and Bronson Reed. And this match, I say, arguably was the best matchup on the card. It's either that or the main event that we saw with Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. And this match, I give it a rating of a 4 out of a 5. It was high action, good back and forth action with all the wrestlers in this match. And Austin Theory ended up winning this match, retaining his U.S. title. He won this match in a controversial way. It was him and Seth Rollins, the last two in that Elimination Chamber match. And how Austin Theory won this match is because Montez Ford, who was the third man in that match, the third last competitor in that match before it was Seth Rollins and Austin Theory. That's why I said Montez Ford was the third man to last in that match. Had to make sure y'all understand what I'm saying. Anyways, Montez Ford, when he got eliminated, it was a curb stomp from Seth Rollins onto the outside, and that was the move that eliminated Montez Ford. And then Montez Ford needed emergency attendance for him to be removed out of the chamber, and that provided a time for both Seth Rollins and Austin Theory to catch their breath. And then the chamber door was left open because the emergency team had to get in there to assist Montez Ford to get back, and then that's when Logan Paul came through and then hit Seth Rollins with a curb stomp. And then if y'all look at what happened after the Royal Rumble, they kind of teased Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul for WrestleMania after what took place at the Royal Rumble, and then they've been going back and forth on social media. I think there was an interview that Seth Rollins did that was outside of the WWE gimmick where he said he's not a fan of Logan Paul and such, and that kind of building up to the WrestleMania match, and it's been official. It's been announced that it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Logan Paul cost him that match. That Elimination Chamber U.S. title match, he hit Seth Rollins with Seth Rollins' own finishing move, hit Seth Rollins with the curb stomp, and then that led Austin Theory to pick up the scraps to get the pin to retain his U.S. title. And this match, like I said, good match, probably the best match on the whole card, and there was good spots in this match. Montez Ford, when he jumped off the pod and into all the other competitors in that match, that was another cool spot. I think Johnny Gargano and Seth Rollins did something off the pod of the chamber as well. That was another good spot. There was a lot of highlight reels in that match there. That definitely was a good produced match we saw with the U.S. title Elimination Chamber match. Anyways, the main event for the undisputed WWE Universal title, Roman Reigns defending his title versus Sami Zayn. Now, what they built was Sami Zayn playing a part of the bloodline. That's been the best thing going for the WWE. When Roman Reigns made his return to the WWE 2020 and then became a WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, he's been on the best run of his career, and he's been the best part to the WWE. WWE has gotten better over the last year or two, and then with Sami Zayn being an addition to the bloodline, that added more entertainment to the bloodline storylines and them being the best part of the WWE. And then what happened at the Royal Rumble was a great pay-per-view. That was a great way for the WWE to kick off the year 2023, producing a pay-per-view like that. And then there was a lot of emotions invested towards this match with Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns because of what happened at the Royal Rumble. And then Jey Uso, he played a big part to this storyline as well, because he didn't partake in the beating of Sami Zayn when the bloodline started lashing out on Sami Zayn after Sami Zayn decided not to partake in the assault on Kevin Owens after the match with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. And then Sami Zayn, I guess he got tired of being pushed and mushed, so he hit Roman Reigns with the chair in the back, and then that's how it all took place. If y'all a wrestling fan and y'all tapped in to the pro wrestling and its current events right now, then y'all know what happened. And then this match leading up to it, there was I say talks of what could have potentially happened. They were saying, oh, Sami Zayn could possibly win this match. I doubted it, because the way Roman Reigns has been going right now, people were saying, oh, it could be a three-way match with Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens or Jey Uso might cost Roman Reigns the title at the Elimination Chamber. It would be a feel-good moment if Sami Zayn wins the WWE Undisputed Universal title in his home crowd, this and that. But I didn't think it was going to happen. I mean, there's another match with Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns at the Road to WrestleMania event But I don't think that's gonna change anything. I think it's gonna be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens challenging the Usos for the tag titles, or it's gonna be a 6-man tag match with the Usos and Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and another wrestler. I don't know who. We'll see though. This match was a good action match, good back and forth action with the two wrestlers. Sami Zayn at close moments, and then if y'all look at Roman Reigns' matches as of late, you will see that all his matches, not all, I'm saying as of late, from his match versus Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Brock Lesnar, it's all due to interferences, dirty plays, the cliche heel stuff that Roman Reigns is pulling to make sure that he retains his WWE Undisputed Universal title. And he has moments where it's obvious that he's down for the 3 count, but the referee's not there. Same thing happened in this match versus Sami Zayn, and there was interferences from Jimmy Uso. That was surprising because the Usos, they have a hard time making it through the border, and this pay-per-view event was in Canada, and there was talks that the Usos ain't gonna be there at this Elimination Chamber pay-per-view because on the SmackDown episode before the Elimination Chamber happened, Roman Reigns was talking about he doesn't want the Usos there. However, Jimmy Uso first interfered in this match and started wailing on Sami Zayn, and then Sami Zayn would turn things around, and then Jey Uso would come out of nowhere, and then Roman Reigns was saying, yo, go hit him, and Jey Uso, he hesitant, he didn't want to beat on Sami Zayn and to help Roman Reigns retain his title, and then that's when Sami Zayn looked to hit a spear on Roman Reigns. Instead, he hit Jey Uso, and then Roman Reigns, he'll pick up the win at the end of the match to retain his WWE Undisputed Universal title. There was a lot of close calls in this match, and at the end of the match, Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso will go on to do some damage to Sami Zayn, even after Roman Reigns retains his WWE Undisputed Universal title. And then Kevin Owens, another man from Montreal, and he would come out for the save to stop the beating that Sami Zayn was going to receive at the hands of the Bloodline, much like how Kevin Owens was receiving a beatdown from the Bloodline at the Royal Rumble. And Kevin Owens would come out for the save. They wouldn't shake hands, they wouldn't hug or form a alliance. Kevin Owens would go out there and do his work on the Bloodline and then get up out of there. And then that storyline is continuing if y'all seeing what's going on with the WWE right now. And I get that match with Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. I say 3.5 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5. That's the match rating I'll give it. In the overall pay-per-view event rating, I'll rate it a 7 out of a 10. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all opinions are from this year's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Anyways, next review, let's talk about AEW Revolution that happened this past Saturday. The opening contest of this year's AEW Revolution was with Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho. This was a good opening contest to get the fans ready for the whole pay-per-view. And Ricky Starks won this match. And they had a good back and forth action with the two wrestlers. And Ricky Starks would hit his finishing move to secure the win. And there was a close call where Chris Jericho had Ricky Starks in the walls of Jericho, and it looked like Ricky Starks was either gonna tap out or pass out. However, Ricky Starks would find the will, the intestinal fortitude to fight out of that and then reverse it to his own submission move. And then Sammy Guevara came out to try and provide distraction. However, what's his name? Action something. I forgot his name. No disrespect. I'll remember his name another time. Anyways, he came out to make the save to get Guevara out of there. And then Ricky Starks will hit the spear, then his finishing move to get the win over Chris Jericho. And I give this match a 3 out of a 5. Ricky Starks, he's been getting the push that he deserves. The guy's got a lot of potential. He's charismatic. He can talk. He can wrestle, and he's getting the spotlight, the shine that he deserves, and that's a good look. And to have a wrestler like Chris Jericho, who's got good credibility and who's known to put young and up and coming talented wrestlers over, to give him that credibility, it just overall a good look. Anyways, the second match on AEW Revolution was a casket match with Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. Now, this has been a long time rivalry. As y'all know, Christian Cage was a long time mentor for Jungle Boy when he was teaming with Luchasaurus as Jurassic Express. And then y'all know when Jurassic Express lost their AEW tag team titles last year, Christian Cage turned heel by attacking Jungle Boy, and then he had Luchasaurus turn on Jungle Boy, and then they've been feuding ever since. And then Christian Cage, when he had that match versus Jungle Boy at All Out, he suffered I think a arm injury, and then it was Luchasaurus after that was feuding with Jungle Boy. Christian Cage was playing a manager role, and I think right now Luchasaurus is injured after his match versus Jungle Boy at Full Gear. And then when Christian Cage recovered from his injury and could compete again, that's how this match happened. And this was a good match. There was a good storyline built to this match, and I think this was the right gimmick match for a rivalry like this. And then Jungle Boy ended up winning this match, and that was a feel-good moment because Christian Cage has been giving Jungle Boy a hard time. And then that's why I say the storyline has some emotions built to it, and that's why I say this gimmick was a fitting match for this rivalry, right? And then Christian Cage, to open this contest, Christian Cage would try and run away, Jungle Boy chasing him, and then it was good back and forth action with the two wrestlers. And then Christian Cage, there was a good spot towards the end of the match where Christian Cage looked like he was gonna hit the concerto. There was two steel chairs inside of the casket. Christian Cage pulled that out, tried to hit Jungle Boy with the concerto. He missed. And then there was a struggle with the two wrestlers, who was going to hit who with the chair and who was going to hit who with the shovel. Jungle Boy ended up getting the better of the exchange, and he put Christian Cage in the crossface. But with the shovel, though, he would have that shovel placed in Christian Cage's mouth, and then he would do like a crossface submission move to have Christian Cage woozy, and that would have Christian Cage pass out, and then Jungle Boy would hit Christian Cage with the concerto. He hesitated for a bit because I guess there was that emotion displayed there, that storytelling part of wrestling, the theatric part of pro wrestling. And then he hesitated because I guess, he was remembering Christian Cage as being his mentor for a long time when Jurassic Express was a thing. And then Jungle Boy would win this match, and I'll give this match a 3.5 out of a 5. And then the next match on the card was the Trios title match, the Elite versus House of Black. Now, this was a good back and forth action match with the two teams. Good moves being exchanged amongst the two teams. A high-paced action match. And I was surprised that House of Black won this match and became the new Trios champions, because when did the Elite win this Trios title? I think it was New Year's. And for them to lose the Trios title, I know after they got suspended, after they brawled backstage after Full Gear, then it was Death Triangle that won the Trios title after the Elite had to vacate those titles. And then when they came back, they had that Best Out of 7 series. And was it Full Gear when Death Triangle had that match versus the Elite? And I think that's when the Elite made their return to AEW after their suspension. And then because I think Death Triangle won that match in a controversial fashion, that's why they had to do that Best Out of 7 series. And then they won that Best Out of 7 series to become the Trios champions at New Year. And for them to lose it on their first defense at a pay-per-view, that was surprising to me. Now, I haven't been watching a lot of wrestling, both WWE and AEW. I just recently caught up with what's been going on. But as far as AEW goes, I don't know what's been going on with they product. Now, I don't know if House of Black has been building up some momentum for them to have this win to become new Trios champion. They produced a good match, and the Elite, as wrestling fans, we know that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are some of the best wrestlers currently active in all of pro wrestling right now. And House of Black, Malachi Black, he can wrestle, and Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, they're not, I think, on the level of the Elite or Malachi Black. However, they can wrestle as well. Anyways, though, like if y'all been tapping in to what's been going on with AEW, and if House of Black has been building up some good momentum, if y'all think that was a deserved win, y'all let me know. I don't know how they've been getting booked as of recently. Anyways, though, this match was good, though. I get this match I say 4 out of a 5. It was a really good match. Anyways, the next match on the card, we saw the Texas Death Match with Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley. Now, they had a rivalry ever since Jon Moxley put Hangman Adam Page on the injury shelf after he hit him with a hard lariat that took Hangman Adam Page out of action for a while. And when Hangman Adam Page came back, he had a win over Jon Moxley, I think at some Dynamite episode. I think it was for the New Year as well. And then they've been having a rivalry ever since. And both Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley are some of the best wrestlers, the top wrestlers of the WWE. I said WWE, AEW as of right now. And they produce, I say, the best match on the card, and arguably the best match of the year thus far. I say it's up there with Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. This match, it definitely didn't disappoint. It definitely suited the theme, the gimmick of this match. It was violent, it was brutal, and they displayed all of that factor in this match. All the spots in this match were very gruesome and very hardcore wrestling spots were shown in this match. And Hangman Adam Page won this match, and it's a good fresh look, I say, to have Jon Moxley lose, because Jon Moxley, he's definitely the household name for AEW. He's been their number one guy since AEW became a thing. And then for Hangman Adam Page to have a clean win over Jon Moxley, it freshens things for AEW and how the roster plays out as far as the main event scene goes. And the way he won this match, Jon Moxley tapped out, and that was a surprising part. It was some gruesome-ish where we saw Hangman Adam Page, because Jon Moxley did some dumb stuff. Let me be on some PG right quick, and he would put the chain on his own neck after I think Jon Moxley brought the chain back into the ring, and then I don't know for what. I think he was, I don't know. I don't know why he put that around his own neck, but that would cost Jon Moxley, because Hangman Adam Page, after he would hit, I think the lariat, and then he would throw Jon Moxley over the top rope, that caused Jon Moxley to get hung on the apron of the ring with that chain, and then Jon Moxley would tap out right then and there, and that's how Hangman Adam Page got the win in this match. Now, I don't know if they're going to continue their feud. They've been feuding ever since Hangman Adam Page been clear to compete. And the way the main event played out with Bryan Danielson and MJF, I think that AEW World Title feud with Bryan Danielson and MJF is going to continue all the way till probably the next pay-per-view, and that's Double or Nothing. And I don't know if Hangman Adam Page is going to feud with either Claudio Castagnoli, who's the ROH champion. Now, I don't know what they doing with the ROH World Title. I mean, I think there's what's the ROH pay-per-view event? Super Card of Honors. I think that's right before Double or Nothing, and we'll see possibly Hangman Adam Page challenge for the ROH World Title versus Claudio Castagnoli. Now, I know it's been a feud going on since Hangman Adam Page been feuding with Jon Moxley, the Dark Order versus Blackpool Combat Club. Now, that's why I say there could be a ROH World Title feud with Claudio Castagnoli and Hangman Adam Page. I don't know. Y'all let me know if that sounds like a good idea. Anyways, next match on the card is the 3-Ways match for the AEW Women's Title. I got the match order mixed up. It was this match before the match with Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. The 3-Ways Women's Title match was Jamie Hayter defending her AEW Women's Title versus Saraya and Ruby Soho. And this match was decent, good back and forth action with the three wrestlers. And Saraya and Toni Storm formed an alliance when Saraya made a return to pro wrestling. And they turned heel as of late. They got this attitude or whatever, they on some I don't know what to call it, on some bad girl timing. That's what they on right now. And then there was a turnaround thing where y'all remember it was Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker that were playing the heel role. I guess now the roles have reversed. It's Saraya and Toni Storm who are the heels, and the baby faces are Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. And Ruby Soho is caught in the middle of these two teams feuding, and that's how this 3-way match came about. And Jamie Hayter picked up the win after getting a roll-up win to retain her AEW Women's Title. And then Saraya and Toni Storm will go on to attack Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker after the match. And then that's when Ruby Soho made the save and stopped the attack on Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And then Saraya and Toni Storm looked like they were going to hit the hay and get out of there. And then Ruby Soho, out of nowhere, she made the decision to align herself with Saraya and Toni Storm. And I don't know what their group is called. I haven't found out yet. And Ruby Soho has joined the alliance. And I give this match a 3 out of a 5. Anyways, the next match on the card, we saw the TNT title match. Samoa Joe defending his TNT title versus Wardlow. They've been feuding ever since Joe split as a team. And then Samoa Joe, he recently won the TNT title back. Like, the TNT title, it's been a thing where it's too many title changes with that title. And it happens, like, right after a new champion wins the title, he loses it. That's what happened. Darby Allin won the TNT title, I think, on the at the start of 2023, and then like 2-3 weeks later, Samoa Joe wins that title back, and then Wardlow makes his return and then continues on his feud versus Samoa Joe after Samoa Joe cut his hair after Samoa Joe defeated Wardlow for the TNT title, I think it was. And then this match, it was good back and forth action. Both wrestlers can go, and they show that. I give this match a rating of a 3 out of a 5. The finish to the match was quite a surprise because Wardlow would get Samoa Joe in the rear naked choke to get this win, and that's Samoa Joe's finishing move. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a good ending to the match. And then Wardlow is now the new TNT champion, and then he will defend his title versus Powerhouse Hobbs, who won the y'all know that brass ring ladder match that they have. The winner goes on to face the TNT champion for that title. I guess on the go home episode of Dynamite before Revolution, Powerhouse Hobbs won that ladder match, and he'll get the challenge for the TNT title. And Wardlow defeated Samoa Joe for that title this past Saturday at Revolution. And I'll give that match a rating of a 2.5 out of a 5. The next match on the card was for the AEW Tag Team titles, a 4-way match. The Gun Club defending their AEW Tag Team titles versus the team of Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, the Acclaimed, and the team of Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. And this match was good back and forth action, good close calls in this match, and I give this match a rating of a 3 out of a 5. The Gun Club will get the win after getting the pin over Danhausen after performing their finishing move, and that's what will secure their win to retain their AEW Tag Team titles. And then after the match, they would get a post-match interview, and they would talk like how heels would talk on some arrogant, bravado, personality, heel role promo. And then FTR would make their return. Y'all remember when FTR at ROH Final Battle, after the hellacious battle versus the Briscoes for the ROH Tag Team titles, and that was possibly, in many people's opinions, the best match of last year. And the Gun Club would go on to attack and beat on FTR. And before FTR got off TV for a while, their last match on Dynamite was versus the Gun Club, where the Gun Club got a win over FTR. And now the Gun Club is the AEW Tag Team Champions, and FTR making a return at Revolution. It sets up a feud for the AEW Tag Team titles with FTR versus the Gun Club. And this was a surprise to many people. I heard that FTR's contract was going to be up this month with AEW, and there was talks of them possibly going to the WWE. And it looks like they're not going to the WWE because they returned at Revolution. At Revolution, they showed up, and that definitely means that they're going to be with AEW, and they're in the tag team title scene. And it looks like they're going to continue their feud versus the Gun Club. And Yeah, I get that 4-way tag team match a rating out of a 3 out of a 5. And then the main event, it was a 1 hour Iron Man match with MJF defending his AEW World Title versus Bryan Danielson. Now this was a good match, good back and forth action, good wrestling skills being displayed, and high drama in this match as well. And it was 3 falls each for both wrestlers at the end of the match. It ended up being a draw after the 1 hour clock was up, and Tony Schiavone, the color commentator for AEW, will go over to Justin Roberts and tell him, oh, this match can continue, to declare a winner in this match. And it looked like Bryan Danielson was going to win. He had MJF. Both of them was a bloody mess. And MJF looked like he was going to tap out because Bryan Danielson had him in a submission hold. He just had to hold on for a few seconds until the clock ran out, and that's what he did. And that's why the match ended up being a draw after the 1 hour clock was up. And then the match would continue, and then it looked like Bryan Danielson had the upper hand. He would hit the Busaiku knee, and MJF, he has some guts, he has some fortitude, he has some fight left in him because he kicked out. And then he would escape to the outside of the ring. And then after the match, when the 1 hour regulation clock was up, MJF had the whole breathing tank, that oxygen tank right there to help support him, to gain back consciousness. And then that was still on the outside of the ring. And when MJF escaped the ring to catch his breath and get his composure back, he would have the gas tank in his hands, and when Bryan Danielson reached over to get him back in the ring, he would hit Bryan Danielson over the head with that gas tank, knocking him out unconscious. And then adding insult to injury, MJF would hit the label lock on Bryan Danielson, his own finishing submission move, and Bryan Danielson, to many people's surprise, would tap out, and then that's how MJF won this match. And much credit goes out to both MJF and Bryan Danielson for performing a high quality wrestling match for an hour straight. And I say this was definitely one of the best matches for this year thus far. I give this match a rating of a 5 out of a 5. Yeah. Best match on the card is up there with, I know I gave the match with Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page a rating out of a 4.5 out of 5. I'm gonna give that match a rating of a 5 out of 5 as well. There's been 3 5 out of 5 matches for this year thus far. The match at the Royal Rumble with Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, and then this match with MJF and Bryan Danielson, and the match with Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. All 3 of those matches been 5 out of 5s. Very great wrestling matches that every wrestling fan should go and watch. If you haven't seen that match or any clips or any highlights from that match, I highly recommend that y'all go see it for yourselves. Will not disappoint at all. And because the way this match ended, I say they're probably gonna have yet another match for the AEW World Title at Double or Nothing, which is their next pay-per-view for AEW. Oh, well, the next pay-per-view is Super Card of Honors, and then it'll be Double or Nothing. But the Super Card of Honors will be a ROH exclusive pay-per-view. I don't think the AEW World Title will be defended at that pay-per-view. That's why I say Double or Nothing is their next pay-per-view, the AEW pay-per-view. And the rating for AEW Revolution, I'll give this pay-per-view a rating of a 7.5 out of it. Anyways, now let's talk about the road to WrestleMania with the WWE. As we know, it's going to be Cody Rhodes challenging Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal title. And I don't see anybody at the top of the WWE right now that could take the title off of Roman Reigns, who has a credibility behind him to be that guy to take down Roman Reigns and be the next undisputed WWE Universal Champion. And Cody Rhodes, he built up a good hype after he made his return to the WWE at WrestleMania last year, and he produced one of the, I would say, arguably, in many people's opinions, the best rivalry of last year versus Seth Rollins. They produced some of the best matches of wrestling last year, and then he won this year's Royal Rumble, and he's got fans, and the fans seem to support him, and he hasn't wrestled since he won the Royal Rumble this year. I haven't seen him wrestle on Raw or SmackDown. He wasn't there at the Elimination Chamber. And if y'all saw yesterday's episode of Raw, he made the save when Jey Uso turned on Sami Zayn, and then the Usos and Solo Sikoa looked like they were going to put the beats on Sami Zayn, and then Cody Rhodes came out and made the save. And he had a back and forth promo with Roman Reigns on the latest episode of SmackDown. And that builds up hype for their match at WrestleMania, and they had a good promo at SmackDown, the latest episode of SmackDown. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at this year's WrestleMania. I can't think of any other top guys that's got momentum built to a level where they could be the next WWE undisputed Universal Champion other than Bobby Lashley, because he is credible enough. And I don't know why Bobby Lashley, since we speaking about the almighty Bobby Lashley right now, I don't know why we're not seeing Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. It looked like they were going to have that match go on for this year's WrestleMania. Instead, we're going to get Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt, it looks like. I think it was like 2 weeks ago on SmackDown where Bray Wyatt was talking about, Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, they better run. And then ever since he talked that crap, it looked like Bobby Lashley is gonna get into a feud with Bray Wyatt. I'm not a fan of that feud. Now Bray Wyatt, when it comes to creativity and his talking ability, I say he's on the top level when it comes to that out of all the roster that's currently active in the WWE. However, he just not that guy from my perspective, and that's just how I see it. They been trying to push him. They put the world title on him before. It just never worked. He got released after he was at the top of the main event scene. Every time he had this gimmick and the whole Wyatt family gimmick, he had all the top feuds. He's gotten in there with all the best wrestlers that were competing at a top level in the WWE. Now they say, oh, because Vince isn't a head of creative anymore, Bray Wyatt could be utilized to his full potential. He had that feud with LA Knight. It was and now he's getting into a feud with Bobby Lashley. If he goes over in this feud versus Bobby Lashley, he can build some credibility, yeah. However, he's wrestled names like John Cena, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins when he was a world champion. And he was a world champion himself. And I already mentioned that. And it never worked. And then what? Because he gets a win over Bobby Lashley. If he gets a win over Bobby Lashley, well, we're supposed to say, oh, he could be the guy that could take down Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal title. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to seem like a hater or anything like that. I just don't see anything special. I don't see anything different about his gimmick, about his character. There's no special add-ons about Bray Wyatt from when he left the WWE in 2020. And then when he was trying to be on that babyface humble gimmick after he made his comeback, it looked like possibly there's something different. Then I knew they were going to do some dark, twisted, same old Bray Wyatt gimmick that we're used to seeing Bray Wyatt play when he left the WWE in 2020. And there's nothing different. And if he beats Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, and I say if, does that make him more credible than he already was? I mentioned that he's beaten wrestlers that are on the level of Bobby Lashley. And some may say that the wrestlers Bray Wyatt has already gotten wins over or past the level of Bobby Lashley. Now that's why I say if Bray Wyatt gets a win over Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, I still don't think he's a credible enough wrestler to where I can say, yeah, that's the guy that could take down Roman Reigns and become the new WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. I just don't see it unless they do something miraculous with his character. And I already gave him his credit when it comes to him being a very creative wrestler who can talk, and he's got this whole eerie gimmick going on. It's unique. It's different from all the other wrestlers that's on the current roster in WWE. Now, some might say they didn't want to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, that feud, carry on to this year's WrestleMania. I say, why not? We didn't see a clean finish at the Elimination Chamber. We saw Brock Lesnar purposely disqualify himself, hitting Bobby Lashley with a low blow, and then attacking him after the match, and then nothing happens after. I don't get it. It's like both Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar got amnesia and they forgot their whole rivalry and their whole feud, and then they just moved on to another feud. Doesn't make any sense. And Bray Wyatt mentioned both Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. However, he just going after Bobby Lashley with his mind game playing gimmick. That's what the feud is looking like it's being built up on. And Brock Lesnar is getting into a feud with Omos. Now, it's not only because what happened at the Elimination Chamber and how there was a unclean finish with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Their whole storyline builds up to last year's Royal Rumble. And I already talked about that when I reviewed the Elimination Chamber. And how do y'all build a feud like that up with two of the, I would say, arguably the best on the roster, definitely very recognizable, and Brock Lesnar, I say, is more recognizable of a name than Bobby Lashley. However, they're both on the top of the roster when it comes to the WWE. Right now, I know they're not the champions. However, they're up there is what I'm saying. And they've been building this long-time rivalry. They got a whole storyline going on, and they stop it after a unclean finish that leaves questions in the air. And they just go on to another feud without nothing happening on Raw or SmackDown after what happened at the Chamber. Doesn't make any sense. Now, I don't know if they want to give Brock Lesnar a fresh new opponent. Omos, I know they want to build him up. They've been trying to build him up. Omos got MVP as his manager. Omos doesn't do any talking. His in-ring ability, it could be worked on. And to have Brock Lesnar possibly have Omos go over, that would be a good look for Omos, and that would be very credible on Omos' resume to have a win over somebody as credible and as well known as Brock Lesnar. And I don't know if Brock Lesnar can carry Omos to have a mind-blowing match at WrestleMania. I heard that Brock Lesnar, this is going to be his final match with the WWE, and I'm hearing that he's going to retire and he's not going to be a wrestler anymore. And it's, I say, a good look for the future for the WWE, and it would be a major role for Brock Lesnar to play. And I'd say somewhat humble on Brock Lesnar's part to have a match with Omos and possibly put him over. It's just a possibility. Brock Lesnar could go on and win versus Omos at this year's WrestleMania and go out with a highlight reel moment. They could have Brock Lesnar perform Suplex City, hit F5s and all that at WrestleMania, and go out with a bang. I would say Bobby Lashley would be a better opponent storyline wise and match quality wise. They've been producing good matches, and I know Brock Lesnar, he's been producing some of his best work thus far in his pro wrestling career as of late. And I just think that Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley would have been a better match for WrestleMania than what we got right now. And if this is going to be Brock Lesnar's final match in pro wrestling, I say it would have been better to have a better opponent for Brock Lesnar's final match. Anyways, y'all saw what happened with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn on the latest episode of Raw. It was Jimmy Uso versus Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn got the win over Jimmy Uso after Jey Uso provided the distraction. A lot of people were thinking that Jey Uso was going to join forces with Sami Zayn, and then possibly Kevin Owens would join forces with them and they would try and take down the Bloodline. It's not looking like that because Jey Uso joined forces with the Bloodline again. And if y'all saw the latest episode of SmackDown, Roman Reigns told Jimmy Uso that if he couldn't get a hold of Jey Uso, he would put the blame on Jimmy Uso. And a lot of people is saying that, Jey Uso made the decision to join forces with the Bloodline to save Jimmy Uso from having to deal with Roman Reigns. Now, where does that lead the Usos for WrestleMania? Is it going to be Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos for the undisputed tag team titles? What's Solo Sikoa going to do? Or is it going to be a trios match at WrestleMania? The Bloodline versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and who else? Or is Solo Sikoa just going to be the ringside, accompanying the Usos defending their undisputed tag team titles versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? And if y'all been seeing what's been going on with the WWE, Sami Zayn been approaching Kevin Owens to help fight the Bloodline, and Kevin Owens doesn't show any interest, and he said he's gonna fight the Bloodline on his own. I know it's gonna ultimately lead to Kevin Owens helping out Sami Zayn and them joining forces again to challenge the Usos for the undisputed tag team titles. Now that's how I see WrestleMania being played out for the Usos, the Bloodline versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. That's how I see it being played out. Now I don't see, if it's gonna be a trios match, I don't see anybody else joining forces versus the Bloodline with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I just don't see it. And yeah, man. Y'all let me know what y'all opinions are, how y'all see this road to WrestleMania being played out. Y'all liking how WrestleMania 39 is leading up to? And Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins. I ain't mad at that match. Logan Paul, he can wrestle, he can talk, he's got a good following with all the people outside of the pro wrestling fans that follow him. That brings a good amount of attention to WrestleMania, and I ain't mad at that because I think Logan Paul is a good look for the WWE. He brings attention to the WWE, and he can wrestle, and he's gonna be versing Seth Rollins. Y'all saw his match versus The Miz. Decent match. His match versus Roman Reigns, good match. And Seth Rollins, one of the best performers in all the pro wrestling. So that's why I say it's going to be a good match with Seth Rollins and Logan Paul at WrestleMania. I ain't mad at that. And Charlotte Flair, she going to be defending her SmackDown Women's title versus Rhea Ripley. I ain't got to say much about them two. They can wrestle, and they're some of the best women's wrestlers on the roster right now. Asuka versus Bianca Belair, same thing can be said about them as well. Then Edge versus Finn Balor, it's looking like it's going to be them facing each other again at WrestleMania. And then possibly we're going to see father versus son, Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. I think Dominic, he's been doing some of his best work. He's getting better as far as his character. His in-ring ability is getting better as well. And I think to get him to that next level, to get a win over his father, Rey Mysterio, would definitely be a good look on Dominic's part. What other matches do y'all want to see for this year's WrestleMania? Comment and subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. That does it for this episode of Talk Wrestling. Out of here, y'all. Peace.